The battles are raging in Gaza City. The Israeli forces are getting closer and closer to the Shifa complex, a hospital. It's the biggest hospital in the Strip. Doctors inside the hospital say the situation is dramatic. It's terrible. They don't have power for the last 3 days. They say at least 200 bodies are starting to decompose inside the hospital. And now the patients in intensive care are dying. They say a lot of people are dying because they don't have oxygen, they don't have power, and the fighting it's around the hospital. Nobody can leave there. They say at least 8,000 people are staying inside the complex, seeking for refugees, seeking for a safe place in there.
Well, so, to just echo what you're saying, we also just reported about EU diplomat Josep Borrell saying the EU has asked Israel for maximum restraint in its targeting in order to avoid casualties. What's the reaction so far from the government?
The Israeli government says that inside Shifa and underneath the Shifa hospital, Hamas has its main base, its control rooms, and all these depots. Those claims are not possible to be verified. At the same time, Hamas says they're not operating inside Shifa or around Shifa. Those claims also cannot be verified. The only thing we know is that the battles are going on around the hospital, and the situation seems to be very, very bad inside there.
Yeah, and demonstrators yesterday in Israel asked and, pounded on this issue of trying to get the hostages that were taken on October 7th freed. But do we know the status of these hostages? Do we know whether they are still alive, where they are being held? What is known about them?
There are a lot of rumors. Hamas says at least 50 of them were killed during Israeli bombardment of Gaza. But none of these informations are solid, nothing concrete. Nobody knows exactly how many people, how many hostages are still alive. There are a lot of talkings between Qatar, Egypt, Israel, and US trying to broke a deal to release those hostages. But so far, nothing concrete.
When you listen to Israelis there, some of the families, of course, know their families have been taken captive by Hamas. What do they say? Do they have hope that these children or their family members are still alive and they will be reunited at some point?
I think all of them, they still have hope. Time is passing and things are getting more and more difficult. There's a lot of pressure from the families for the Israeli government to try everything they can to bring the hostages back. They also asking the Israeli government, if needed, to stop the fighting, to try to find a deal with the Hamas to bring them back. But I would say the only thing that they still have is hope, but they don't have any information. They don't know what's going on, and there's a lot of sadness among them for this situation.